Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Shermaine, aka Terry McGinnis, coming at y'all with some Titanfall 2 today. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the first DLC update for Titanfall 2, titled Angel City's Most Wanted, coming out on November 30th. Now, this is from the Frontier News Network on Titanfall.com, so a link will be in the description. I'm going to go ahead and get right into it because there's a lot of shit we need to talk about. So, right now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the future events that Respawn wants to do for the rest of the year. Obviously, these are only just some, you know, and these are just kind of like general details, and I'm going to paraphrase most of them just because you can kind of get the gist just by the title. Social giveaways, they're going to do giveaways every Wednesday. Just follow Respawn on Twitter, and hopefully you can get some cool shit. You know, that'd be awesome. Top network recognition, basically Respawn will shout out a couple of networks that they think are awesome, or, you know, have a whole lot of players playing and stuff like that, just to kind of get their names out and have more people join them, and you know, create more of a social experience, I guess, if you want to say that. That's cool, you know, just get more people playing together. That's awesome. Double XP weekends, everybody fucking loves that. Everybody fucking loves double XP weekends. You can actually combo your double XP weekend with your happy hour from your network for even more rewards. And that's awesome. It just gives players a really good excuse to get on Titanfall 2 and play together. So that's awesome. Looking forward to that. Game mode twist. I'm going to go ahead and read this all because paraphrasing it wouldn't really do it justice, even though you could kind of get the gist. Game mode twist. Changing things up and trying out new ways to play is a big part of how we work here at Respawn. We're carrying that philosophy over to multiplayer with semi-regular events that will change up rule sets on certain games, giving them a twist to how you might normally play them. Changes like these force players and ourselves to look at the game differently and try some things you may have never tried before. Awesome. So basically these are like brawls from Overwatch or any sort of you know, standard game mode that you play that comes out with a little, you know, slight variation of it. This is cool. I'm down for this. I can't wait for, you know, the game modes from Titanfall 1 to make it in, like Frontier Defense and Mark for Death and shit like that. But these are pretty interesting. These challenge us as players because they present a new set of obstacles and circumstances, and it challenges you to see how well you can adapt to those. So that's pretty tight to think about. And as they mentioned, this challenges Respawn themselves, especially the game designers, because now you have to take existing content and represent it in a way that is actually a genuinely new experience, which that's awesome. And what I would like out of this is, after a few events happen, let the community vote on what game mode they like the best, and then put it into the game. You could put it in with updates, or have their own, you know, week that they get injected into the game or whatever, something like that. Point is, after a couple of them, let us vote on what we like the best, and then put it into the game. It's a great way to inject extra content into your updates and shit like that. So that way we'll have even more modes to play. I think that'd be tight. I think that might be stretching it, but to me that sounds dope. So yeah, game mode twist. That sounds pretty cool. Some other things that are coming in this, that are actually coming in this update. Let's go ahead and talk about that now. Is an in-game store. I'll get to that, you know, in the last part of the video. Frequently asked questions menu. That's great. You know, if you can help players clear any confusion, awesome. A stat screen, which I'm assuming is going to be, you know, including the deaths and assists and stuff like that. I wish I was at Hellfire still. I could have asked some of my friends over there, especially the engineer and game designer, how something like that gets excluded from a game. Not to, like, you know, bash on Respawn. It is a pretty basic thing to include, but I just want to know under, like, what circumstances could that happen. So that'll finally get in the game, you know, just to see how many assists and deaths and whatever else you want, how many kills you have, and time you've been fucking climbing on a Titan or just shit like that. We're getting a new pilot execution called Inner Pieces. You phase into an unsuspecting enemy, and if you didn't know that, if you don't use phase shift, if you use phase shift and then you come back into reality inside of a pilot, enemy pilot, or just enemy anything except for a Titan, obviously, you will kill them immediately. So that's pretty cool. Now we get a little cinematic view of it and shit like that. We're getting a new weapon called the Wingman Elite Pistol. We already have the Wingman, which is a fucking powerful revolver. So Wingman Elite Pistol sounds even more powerful, and I wonder how it will differ. That sounds interesting. I'm not a pistol user, especially in this game, so I'm never going to use it. I'm going to keep with my anti-Titan weapon. But hey. Now, obviously, what's coming with this is Angel City. It's obviously it's the fucking title of the update, right? Angel City's Most Wanted. Angel City, a fan favorite map from Titanfall 1, is reborn for Titanfall 2. Fans that pre-order Titanfall 2 will get access to the Angel City map starting on November 3rd, while other players will get access to the Angel City map on December 3rd. So, we also have a bunch of Titan kits, one for each Titan coming in this update. Titan kits. Get more customization for your Titan with these all new kits. Now, here's the problem with anything that's like this. By now, most of the players have already figured out what's best and what's superior than the others. And that's kind of what forms the meta, just in general, right? So, some of these will probably see very little play and or never see play. But I'll point those out once we get to them. First, we have the first kit for the Ion called Refraction Lens. Splinter rifle splits 5 ways. That's pretty interesting. I doubt that it'll continue to split horizontally, basically making a massive mastiff. I think it'll be 2 on top, 3 on bottom. I probably will never use this just because entangled energy is so good. You want to be able to build as much energy as possible to give you access to laser shot as often as possible. But if you're a person that likes to primarily use the splinter rifle, the alternate fire, then hey, it just makes the projectiles even bigger. And basically makes the hitbox for your damage that you're sending onto the map even larger. So it's going to enable people that use Ion to be able to kill pilots a lot easier with the splinter rifle. But why would you do that if you can just use a laser shot? Anyways, Scorched Earth. Flame core ignites the ground, leaving thermite in its wake. This is actually really interesting when I think about it, because you can flame core, and if someone so happens to survive, you can now ignite the ground on fire and control a massive amount of area. It's pretty cool. It's like you flame core, and then that whole area is yours. Like if someone steps in there, boom, you just set that shit on fire, and then they pay the price. The problem is you actually have to get your core first, then use it, and then use it in an area that will see at least some sort of traffic to be able to get any sort of value out of it, which it's kind of a lot to set up. But hey, I will be looking forward to seeing players to use that, hopefully. North Star threat optics. Enemies are highlighted while zooming in. That's pretty fucking powerful, because you theoretically, going by off of just that, if that's all that says, you can see pilots in the interior of buildings, and you can just charge up your shot, and when you know one of them's going to come out, boom, shoot them dead. There you go. More core charge for you. I'm not tripping too much, though. I mean, it's going to be fucking annoying to be just like walk out and then shot dead immediately, but the amount of North Stars that we see is pretty low. And it's a big buff, or a potential buff, right? It's a big kit for a very weak Titan that's only good at long range and medium range in some cases. So, it might be a well-needed kit, I guess I should say. Tone, burst loader. Aiming allows the 40mm to store up to 3 shots to burst fire. Now, as I mentioned earlier, some of these kits you're never going to use, and this might be one of them. I think this will see some play, but why the fuck would you take a weaker particle shield? Like, you're intentionally lessening your defenses, which you can use at the same time as you pressure with your offense. You want a decreased amount of time, so you're increasing the amount of time that you're actually vulnerable. And to me, that just sounds stupid. It's like, why would you take the extra dash for tone when you're not going to be zipping all around the place? You're going to go to a spot and then stop. You're not going to move. And you're going to throw down your particle wall and you're going to start shooting. And with this, I mean, it does potentially allow for more offense if this shoots 3 shots in a straight line. And it's also worth noting that this is actually a mod that was in Titanfall 1 for the 40mm cannon. You would burst fire. It would do a little bit less damage. But, I mean, I just don't see why you would take a weaker particle wall for a kit that forces you to hold aim, and then shoot. You know, you have to wait till it stores up. But at the same time, you could potentially get your lock on immediately if you store up, shoot someone, boom, 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 all 3 hits. You don't even have to waste your sonar thing and just, you know, do your salvo core, or, you know what I mean, your rockets. So it's interesting. I think it'll see some play, but I don't suspect people to take this too much over the better particle wall. Moving on, we have Legion. This is called Hidden Compartment. Power Shot has 2 charges. Absolutely garbage. You'll never use this. Legion doesn't need Power Shot to be effective whatsoever. Why would you stop your minigun to charge up a shot when you could have already shot like 50 bullets by that point? And there's no way you would not take Bulwark over anything else, because Bulwark is just so good. You increase your shield, it takes more damage, and it makes your hitbox even smaller. Like, it's no point. There's no point in taking Hidden Compartment. I predict that this will see very little, if any, play at all. Ronin, Phase Reflex. When doomed, the Ronin phases out of danger. So this is kind of interesting. Once you get doomed, I anticipate you'll go into like a phase shift, but you'll stay there for a couple more seconds, because I find it basically pointless. If you immediately get doomed and you phase shift into like the direction that you're moving, you could accidentally flick the thumbstick in any which way and phase shift to an area where you don't want to be, like closer to the enemy. But I feel like, why in the hell would you take this when you have 3 dashes, basically 4 dashes potentially? This is basically useless, because if you're doomed, you're going to get out of your Titan anyways shortly, especially if you're Ronin, because you have such a small amount of health. Like, why would you take this over Thunderstorm? Or why would you take this over having your phase dash more readily available? So I predict this will see probably very little, if any, play at all. It's basically pointless, because it only helps out in one situation to ensure that you don't get executed. So it's kind of garbage tier, in my opinion. The last thing that I wanted to talk about to wrap the video up is the InGame Store that'll be launching. And I'm going to go ahead and just read this paragraph right off the post. In addition to the free stuff, we will be opening a store in-game with the launch of DLC number 1 that will allow you to purchase new skins, camo, and Prime Titans if you want for a modest price. We will have no in-game currency exchange, no locked loot boxes, crafting shards, or pay-to-win weaponry, no RNG. If you see something you like, you buy it. That's it. These in no way affect stats and are purely cosmetic. We will have 2 Prime Titans available at launch. They have new chassis and assassinations, but function the exact same way as their original counterpart. So we're going to have an in-game store that allows you to buy cosmetic shit. And here we go. People already, oh my god, microtransactions and da-da-da. I mean, like, I don't fucking care. I mean, it doesn't affect the game in any way. It's just there if you want. Help out Respawn a little bit more if you like the game and want to support them and give them a little bit of extra cash. That's not buying a fucking season pass. Anyways, that's cool. What I find interesting are these Prime Titans, which I remember reading about them earlier on. So you're getting a new chassis, new execution, which will be awesome to see, but it sucks that the execution is basically locked to the Titan, but they have the same exact loadout as whatever they're supposed to be. So it's also like a passive buff as well, passive advantage. If you see, let's say we get the 2 Titans are just a Strider and Atlas chassis. So the potential you have there are Tone and Ion for the Atlas, and fucking Ronin and Northstar for the Strider, obviously. If you don't see their weapon right off the bat, then you kind of don't know what Titan they are. I mean, you know there's a 50-50 chance, but you could surprise someone with what you actually are rocking, because they could guess wrong, and you can have an advantage. So that's pretty interesting, but we'll be able to point those out pretty quickly, I think. So yeah, that is the update. That is the update post on the Frontier News Network as of yesterday, and I might talk more about the abilities, the kits for the Titans in later videos, just because I want to kind of reinforce and elaborate my thoughts and get them on wax. Long video, and I probably will have to throw in some kind of like footage again, just so the fucking thing is not stopped or anything. But yeah, there's a lot of shit there, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Look forward to Angel City's Most Wanted. I know I am. Thank you all for watching the video. My name is Charmaine, and I'm out. Peace. Have a good day.